work the land and also raised livestock, providing steady employment for others. As a young man, he worked overseas on the construction of the Florida East Coast Railway, returning home after World War I. His major contribution was filling the void in transportation of goods and passengers between Georgetown and Bordentown, which he did with a horse-drawn carriage for 35 years in all kinds of conditions. The government called upon him for many duties in his district, including police service, tax collection, operation of the cattle dip to control ticks, service as foreman of roadworks, and as pound keeper, keeping stray cattle until their owners reclaimed them, and the maintenance of telephone lines. He also served as a member of the Assembly of Justices and Vestry.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It's me here as you look on the screen, whether it's YouTube or, what is it, Facebook, wherever you see us. But hopefully you're listening on the radio. Some of us are purists. While on the other side is Paul O'Connell. He's making it happen. So when you call, he answers. 949-8037. We've got a couple of other options for you. We want to tell you what they are. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much. If you look on the calendar, it probably says a Monday, unless your calendar is set for another day. But whether it is, if it's your first day or you continuing an extended shift, trust and pray that your day will be not only a very beautiful, blessed one, but one that makes you feel that the promise of tomorrow is indeed there, but you have to be productive today. Make hay while the sun shines, they say. 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, the Flow toll-free line is available for those who can't access it. Give it a shout and share. See if it works for you. 1-800 534-8255. Guess what? You can also WhatsApp. That's 925-3261. Now, our diligent team has been working just feverishly trying to get things, so not only can you WhatsApp, not only can you send a voice note, but we tested it Friday. Probably out of necessity to say it's the mother of invention. Had a little hiccup with the phones, and we recognize the beauty of technology sometimes, but if we become so enslaved and dependent on it, it makes us realize how challenging it is. Well, we knew there was something that we wanted to deploy, and now you can call us on a WhatsApp call. And we can answer it on air, and you can talk, and it's very clear. 925-3261. Try it and see if it works for you. Now, you might say, well, what do I talk about? Well, there's a song, let's talk about, politics, religion. No, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. The idea of speaking is to share it in a way that you convey what is it that you want to say. I would offer it this way, and you tell me whether it's appropriate. But you share it from your perspective, informed and considered as much as possible, understanding that it is your view. And as long as you do it respectfully and responsibly, appreciating that, your view is not the only view, sometimes it may not be even correct. So be respectful of others. And then second, if possible, be cognizant of where you are in the audience, and so the language that we choose. I say that to say that that's the example I think my parents set for us, allowing us to disagree with each other and with them. And the only two rules were, don't cuss and carry on, and respect that your view is the only one. Well, let's take this call. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How you doing?
Hey, good to hear from you, man. How are you?
Best in the way, and I'm giving God thanks. It's still one day above ground, so a day above ground is a good day.
Hey, likewise, man. And thank you for sharing, because I think that many times we live in spaces and places where even trying to demonstrate our spirituality by quietly saying grace as we bless our food, or saying publicly, thank God, or saying to friends and family, and God bless. That infuriates people, and it's probably something that we're not mindful could be changing in Cayman. And it's not just the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the way that we are told that happens and transpires in our society. It's the honest, quiet, commitment, and sort of. So thank you for that, man. Talk to me. We got much to share, man.
Yeah, man. Well, let me sum it up. Since you mentioned that piece with that scripture, God said in His Word that if we are ashamed of Him, He will be ashamed of us. So we can't get no way if God is ashamed of us. So let us try to realize that we got a lot to be thankful for, and we all understand worse is yet to come in this world. But until that happens, we just continue fighting the good fight. That's all we can do, Sterling. That's all we can do.
If we, and I say this realizing that even in Cayman, where things are changing for every reason, and not necessarily always the best, but if we hold on to that, if we're respectful and appreciative, and like you said, looking at it with the hopeful expectation. Now, it's easier sometimes said than done, and even when you should do something, you don't always do it. Something as easy probably as it's as anything. Take a nice little stroll outside and smell the fresh air, and feel the cool breeze.
Exactly. Stop and smell the roses that He provides for us.
Yep, but we don't do that, right?
Yeah, man. No, we don't do that. The whole part about it, we has lost our vision for everything else. So
yeah, man.
But what I want to speak about this afternoon, Sterling. And thank you for your time.
No, you're welcome, man. Thank you for yours.
Okay, man. The situation here on the block, I don't know how it came on, but things. Well, I guess you might have heard about even to the breaking in the churches and everything else. But what I want to talk, I don't want a topic on that, but I just want a topic on the cost of living here on the block. I'm pensionable through pension board, and it took almost 12 years for me to get a little increment onto my salary that I get monthly. Otherwise, we see prices in the stores right now. Cayman Brac, we see prices at the gas pump gone up to the roof again. So when you have to go to a store, and I am talking about here on the Brac, and you got to buy, let's say, for instance, these people that work out on the roads and other places that making their little $250 a week.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a dog home that you got to maintain that dog, and things wasn't this bad before, Sterling. But listen to play closer to what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When they got make their $250, $300, and at that weekend, they have to go to a store and pay $145 for a case of dog food. Sterling, you do the math. Them people not have nothing left in their hand by the end of the day. When pay they come, because they got buy their little food. Now go home and more or less what they got eat costs less than the dog food. It's just an example of how bad things have gotten around here and getting.
It's sadly getting worse. It seems like, huh?
It's getting worse, and I don't understand where the restrictions for these things fall under. We sit down and we say we can't blame our government. We can't blame this and we can't blame that. But if there's not a system put in place, we can't blame that. But if there's a system put in place, that is our source of complaints against that source, because the revenue that is falling to the country, to the people, are not there. I know people that been retired before me, Sterling, and today they're struggling on the little pension that they get, because they got to pay water, they got to pay light, they got to pay food, they got every little thing out of that little couple $100 that they had. Like I said, mostly everybody got their little increment. Yes, that put it up. But when government allocate to pension or regular salaries a 5% increase, the shops goes up 50% increase. So where are we? We're still behind where we're supposed to be. We are trying to get the ship to leave the dock without oars and without an engine, and we're not going nowhere. And I don't understand how it is that our leaders or whoever, and it makes me sound like I repeat myself, because like I say, if there's something there that has to be put in place, someone has to take the fault. And we can't blame ourselves, because we can't fight the private sectors out there with the gas stations and the stores. We have to get the government to help us to get them to have proper regulations or against their prices in or the gas stations or whatever.
Right. So let me then ask, as you're talking, let me then ask, I mean, certainly the cost of living across the board, and you're saying, well, people say you can't blame the government, and the government say we can't blame them. You're inferring, well, two things. Who do we blame? Who's responsible? What do we do about it?
Somebody got to be responsible. Right. There has to be somebody who have to be responsible, because the license can't be given without permission, and that permission comes from a government entity. So where does it come down? It have to come down to someone, and someone have to pick up the book and say, listen, when we turn that page, the islands wasn't in this mess. Right. Now we turn 4 more pages, and now it's out of control where we can't feed our people. We're getting to the stage, Sterling, Ripat, or the Caymanians not going to be able to eat soon,
So let me ask them, with that being the challenge, right, what do we do about it? How do we address it? What can we do about it?
I've been saying, our people here on the Brac are not going to get up and are not going to do no marching. They're not going to protest against nothing. The people in Grand Cayman have options. They can protest because they have a lot of choices when it comes to their work. Our people here cannot do no protesting because they work for government, the majority of them. And if they rail up and raise a stake here on the Brac, and the next thing they'll be threatening them about their work in their livelihood. And when we got come to that point, like I said, I don't remember if it was on your show or OC show.
Mm-hmm.
See, right now, Sterling, if you compare us to Cuba, Cuba is a better off country than these Field Islands, because we are being dictated by a dictatorship government. because the people can't speak. We can't go out there and raise up and say, okay, we're not going to work tomorrow because we are struggling to buy gas or we're struggling to buy food. We need an increase in our salaries. Then they want to threaten the people. Remember, Sterling, let me stop right there. Let's rewind back to COVID. Remember the restrictions on COVID? When they threaten the people and say, if I don't take the vaccination, I got lose on the jobs or I got be lessen on the salaries, these kind of things. And today, we are still under that same leadership. The people cannot come out and they can't march, they can't voice their opinion, rise up against these things because the gas stations can't sell if the people don't buy. The Bible said the rich can't sell and the poor definitely he can't buy it. So if the people stand up against these things, we having problem with our water system. Now we go on gas prices. Now our food prices are going out the shop door. I mean, Sterling, for you to go store here with $200, you walk out the store with 2 bags in your hand, 2 little plastic bags. Now, if that's not downright shame and disgrace for such a small place, but who to blame? Who to blame? We have to start blaming someone, and they mightn't like it, but they put themselves in that situation where they say they were going to stand for the people, and we don't have an option but to blame the ones that promise us. Comfort a fool's heart, boy, Sterling. That is where we fall short, and now we paying dearly for it, my friend. Dearly.
Yeah, man. Well,
it's a sad situation, Sterling. Sad. Because I went to a store. I went in one store, and they have one bottle. Listen, not even a gallon, Sterling. Oh, no, let me correct myself. It is a gallon. A gallon of hand sanitizer for $149. 1 gallon. Now you got to tell me what a person got to do with that. Can they consume it? These kind of things should not be. They should have someone to come around these stores and have a system set up where they do valuations of these stores, these gas stations, and say, listen, we can't allow you to do this because we're not paying the people that much, and you can't charge the people more than they're making. And look how much people out there making $5 something an hour. There's still people that making that kind of salary. So Sterling, if they want to go buy gas, they got to work. Look how much hours they got to work a day. Then they have to pay back for that gas, that full tank of gas.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right? I mean, rare is it that we're seeing what it is, I appreciate what you're sharing, man. I mean, always respect your insight, and a couple of things you said have caused some others to comment as I look at the messages. Maybe I can share them after, I look at them a little bit more closely. Anything else you want to share?
No, man, that's good. I'll leave it for someone. Hopefully my friend come on the radio.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you again, brother.
Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Later.
All right, let's pause, take that break, return the calls as we return, so stay tuned.
Are you kidding me?
Hey girl, what's wrong?
My eyeliner foundation just ran out and I have to leave Savannah in 15 minutes.
That's easy. Just stop at Savannah Pharmacy. That's where I get all of my makeup, and for a great price too.
Really?
Really, girl. Where are you going?
To Savannah Pharmacy, duh.
Wait, I'm coming too. Ran out of my favorite nail polish.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Savannah Pharmacy is just around the corner with everything you need and the hours you need it. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. We are here as a team to assist you while taking care of your health. Call us today at 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Wednesday, April 26th is World Intellectual Property Day. It's a time to celebrate our creative minds, from musicians, songwriters, and authors to inventors, designers, painters, and so much more. Did you know that their creations, just like yours, can be protected by a patent, trademark, or copyright? Find out how to register and protect your intellectual property today. Visit the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office website at ciipo.ky for more information. That's ciipo.ky. It's your innovation, your creation, and your intellectual property. Protect it today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Got a couple of calls. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
I guess I want to agree with the last caller there, with the exception of the Cuba thing. We're still better off than Cuba, but I agree with all the rest you're saying. And I want to set the record straight about the gasoline prices.
Yes, sir.
Last Friday on the same radio show, it said the prices is stuck at $5.75 in the bracket. It's never been $5.75 for a very, very long time. It was $5.80 for many months, and last week it went to $5.92.
Wow.
So I wonder why they can't get the story straight. You know, they should get the story straight before they put it on the air. Because, in fact, I sent a picture to this talk show this morning of it being $5.92, but I couldn't get on the show this morning.
Okay. Well, I think the information comes from off-rig, but it's something good to know. I mean, you're there, you know it, right?
Yeah, I sent a picture of it. I took a picture yesterday evening of the Western Texaco gas station and sent it to you guys at the radio station this morning. I think off-rig was saying that, but look to me like off-rig not care nothing but the black. Nothing at all. They're trying to cover up or something, but the price is in the black. But like that last caller said, the prices are going sky high on everything. And one of the big problems is this: even when government take off the duties off things, the merchants, business people never takes it off. So they're making more money, but it never passed on to the consumers. That's one of the reasons why the prices are high in Canberra, because a lot of things do the free, including gasoline, but it's not passed on. And the government, or FREG, or whoever's supposed to do it, do not check and make sure it's taken off, that it passed on to consumers. So the business people is making more money every time government takes off duties, but it's not helping the consumers. That is a big problem.
How do we do it then? I mean, what is the... What do we do? I mean, the cost of living is something people will want more income in order to pay for increasing prices, and government says, well, it needs to raise revenue by imposing taxes and borrow and the like, and then this creates increased costs, increased call for more wages. How do we address it, and what's the problem?
I just told you one of the problems is the government takes off duties all the time.
Right.
It never checks to see it's passed on. So it never passed on in the bracket. So the butchers, the business people is making more money, becoming millionaires, while the cost of living is going up for the consumers. So the government needs to check when they take off things that the prices will drop. But that's the reason why they do the free, ain't it? Unless they got in mind that only is for the business people or something, because it's never taken off. The last time we were taking off the 12.5 cents and do this for gas, I spoke to one of the gas station owners, and they told me they didn't know I took it off. That nobody notified them. So that is one big problem going on with the government. They never check to see if passed on when they do it free or do this cut. And that needs to change. You know?
Now, does that change start with us, or how? I mean, how do we bring about that change?
Well, at least to notify the people when they take and do it off the different things, notify who concerned, business who concerned, and tell them, we take and do this off so-and-so, make sure it's passed on. And then we're going to check later on. They checks all the time, but that they can give you how about the cost of living went up, right? So they must check to see if the prices in the store went down after they took off the duties too, right? That's a big problem, and nobody checks. Nobody cares, it seems like. And then people in Grand Cayman look like they forgot about it, Brack. You know, the takeoff duties, all the gas thing goes up more than in the Grand Cayman. Nobody cares. You know? Yeah. I don't say off, right? They didn't say for Canberra at all. They didn't mention how Canberra can be, like, had it on the radio about 575 at 592. Look, it's trying to cover up or something. You know, it's a big problem with that. It's like Cayman Island is number 3 most expensive place in the world to live. That's Grand Cayman. Canberra is number 1. But they don't care about Canberra. They never raise to Canberra.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate that it's so expensive, eh? And we have one government. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, too.
Have a good afternoon. And I hope, as the gentleman shares, we pay attention and get things accurate. Let's take the other caller. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome, good afternoon. You're on air. Thank you for calling. Connect up that call and see what happens, and if we do, we'll take it. But as both of the callers prior were sharing, a few of our listeners' message, and one, I think summed it up best. We live in one country, making the analogy that, okay, if you're in the U.S., you got Alaska and Hawaii, and maybe in the Cayman context, we see it sort of the same. But that caller, that listener, said, that shouldn't really hold water in the argument, because it's one country, and where it may be important for government to subsidize services in one area, it's not that we should be looking at, as an argument, on Cayman Brac, if you have 1,000 people or 2,000 or 10,000, you build $100 million healthcare facility. But maybe what you do is ensure that the healthcare, like the education, is something that is deserving and as best as possible for the people, and that their access to the healthcare is not only almost unfettered, but it's the same as it would be on Grand Cayman. There would be the delay, leaving the Brac to come over to Grand Cayman, but the country makes the investment in health services. Now, I'm paraphrasing what the individual shared. The other thing the person said is that in doing that, why is it that we're seemingly, as the caller just, sort of alleged, are we ignoring, are we blind to what is happening on the Brac relative to the cost of living? And should our Brac residents and family and friends experience, what they have said, exorbitant costs relative to what it is? One other of the listeners message and say that it's very much akin to a practice we may have had long ago. We would go up to Florida primarily, we'll buy goods and we'll come back, because it was cheaper to do that. Not only incorporating a vacation, not only paying duties and the like, but just if you went up for the day and shopped and came back. Presumably, some people in the Brac will do the same, come down to Grand Cayman, go into the stores here and make their purchase and send it across. The listener was saying, well, is there a way that we can look at that to ensure that the Brac economy is not only stimulated, but its residents aren't paying excessive, maybe marginally higher, might be acceptable, but not excessive, and are there ways that the government can? Now, it said that it gave to the concessions relative to the purchase of property, but what is that doing for Caymanians, and how is that impacting future generations? Well, it's going to be open line. Let's take your calls after this quick break. 949-8037, or try to WhatsApp. Probably a call that you can check and test and see. 925-3261. You can actually call it. Try it. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Here at Savannah Pharmacy, our pharmacists do a lot more than just count out your pills and fill prescriptions. They undergo extensive education in the study of how the human body uses and responds to medicine. They have also built up years of experience in real-life counseling on how to take medication safely. Our pharmacists are on the front lines in keeping our society healthy. Don't risk it or hesitate. Contact us or schedule a consultation with one of our pharmacists today. At Savannah Pharmacy, we care about your health.
From boat days to beach gatherings, Leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Attention West Bay residents. The Department of Environmental Health West Bay Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 1st to the 6th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it is easily accessible to DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials or electronics. For more information on the West Bay Bulk Waste Collection from May 1st to the 6th, please contact DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. It's open line 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, you can use the toll-free call if it's available to you, 1-800-534-8255. And you can try to WhatsApp. You can call. You can leave a voice note. Hey, 925-3261, 925-3261. And you can call us on that, and we will listen if you want us to engage. But the last callers, and looking at the quick comments shared with us again, what's a sort of mindset, one of our listeners messaged to ask, of a people if we are prepared to allow one segment of the population to go without. And it makes the sort of correlation between if we live on the brag, we seem to be okay and accepting, especially if we are the ones on Grand Cayman, whether the government or the business or those living here, that the cost of milk, the cost of gas, the cost of everything is significantly higher on the brag. And should it be? And then secondly, the person says, well, if you are willing to accept that, are you willing to say that if you lived in one part of Grand Cayman versus the other, that you pay more or less? Or if you are particular, and the person put it in brackets, not quotation marks, in brackets, not quite sure, but the class of people, are you willing to accept that you get this? Now, I went on to send a link. I wasn't able to open it, but the quick sort of explanation as to why they were attaching the link talked about the need for governments to be able to ensure that its population can afford to live in the country, and there are different programs either sponsored by the government or in partnership with entities, or sometimes wholly unwritten, that complement government services. But the person writing questioned whether or not we are using this properly. It gave, without naming any particular program, just as examples, programs that are operated through churches like food banks or charities, programs that provide housing or clothing or other items that are considered necessities in life, but how do we ensure that they're accessible? And the person critiques those and says, well, there are many people, either because they're unaware, because they have sort of too much self-pride, whether that's good or bad, or because whatever criteria is established, they're not able to take advantage of these programs. And then it further asks, well, if in your society you have a segment of your population, and it gives as a what if it's in the Cayman context, that there are those on work permit who are being paid substandard wages, and then in order to live and survive in the country, they access these programs. Now, the country may have programs, and I guess in the Cayman context, it was through what we would call NAU, or way back when, social services, that the country would provide these services for its citizens. Now, this writer asks the question, well, what is that doing for the safety and security and stability of the society, as well as the quality of life? And it further messages to the extent that it questions, if you bring into your country a body of people and what they're paid is insufficient for them to be able to live in that country, what happens to them? And if they're there, and makes the sort of connection that very much similar to what our seafarers probably did. They were on their ships, or they worked other places. While they were there, they sent money back, similar to what may be happening here. But if our country is very expensive to live, and if the wages are relatively low, does that create excessive challenges for the country and for the people who are coming in, working, and they're living here while they're working in order to support their families in their own home countries? Now, I struggle with the exchange with the individual, waiting for them to respond to a question that we asked in relation to, well, how do we address that? Because if it is that we're accepting that for the companies to be profitable, they got to be able to reduce their costs. And if one of the costs that is seen to be exorbitant, labor costs, does that then mean that we're finding more and more cheaper labor, or extorting the labor that we have? Is that then causing the resident population to consider whether or not they should go to work for those reduced wages? Does that then lead to a government having to find more and more funds? Economists talk about transfer payments, you may talk about social services, government support, whatever is termed in your mindset, to support these people. In that support for these people, whether it's housing and healthcare, whether it's education, or whether it's just to pay for food and other necessities, do those people lose their sense of self-worth? Do they consider that it is perhaps better to just do this because the effort that they expend otherwise isn't worth it? What does that then do for the psyche, the mindset of people? When they're young, they may be more resilient, but as they age, do they become sort of less adept at being able to navigate that sense that they now have little left to contribute? Well, appreciate the individual sharing those sentiments. Hopefully I paraphrased it properly. Let's take this call. Welcome, good afternoon, thanks for sharing. Hello, good afternoon. Okay.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to everybody listening in.
Hey, there you are, Mr. Raymond. Now we hear you. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Oh, trying to make the best of it. Yes, sir.
Good to hear that, man. Hope you do. Hope you'll be able to.
Yes, sir. Okay, I have some interest maybe in the maritime field about the Cayman Islands and the importance of the Cayman Island Yacht Registry. Jeff Bezos has just had the biggest super yacht in the world completed, and it's flying the Cayman Island flag right now off the coast of Spain. It is classed as the world's largest sailing yacht. It has three-masted, like a three-masted schooner.
Uh-huh.
Super yacht Koryu, Koryu, at 417 feet long. It's built in Holland, near Rotterdam. They were planning to move a bridge in Rotterdam to allow it to come out the shipyard and go out the harbor. But they removed the mast from the giant super yacht, so it could pass under the bridge without having to take down the bridge. That was a lot of discussion over the last 2 years or so. So it's a $500 million super yacht with 3 masts, and it will be coming to the Caribbean, down to Port Everglades, Florida, in the near future. They're testing her out now, doing sea trials, which is an experimental method of testing out the ship to see its functions. As sea trials is done with every maritime craft, all ships, testing out engine, navigational equipment and everything. It's being done now. And they also have, being of its size, it does not have a helipad on it and the mast, because of the mast on it. So he has built another mega yacht at 247 feet named Abiona, A-B-E-O-N-A, Abiona, which is going to carry his toys. That's referring to jet skis, ATVs to travel in rough terrain when you visit islands, and the helicopter will be carried on the other boat, Abiona. And it has made its maiden voyage across the Atlantic down to Port Everglades about 2 months ago, and now she's gone back to come back down with his giant sailing yacht, Port Everglades, Florida. That's quite a historic thing for Cayman Islands to be proud of, that we have been chosen for that ship, those 2 ships to be registered in Grand Cayman.
Well, I think it's, I'm glad you shared with us, but I think it speaks to the respect, that the registry has, but also to the competence of the team, led by Mr. Joel Walton. The fact that, we are, as you reminded us, having an incredible seafaring legacy. Maybe it is something that we can promote more, and whether it's the luxury yachts or whether they're the other commercial liners or the like, our registry has held its own in high regard, for this last 100 years,
Yes, exactly so, and I'm the one to maintain that, to do the respects for our seafaring heritage here in Cayman Brac. And I would like to, Grand Cayman has lost another great man, Mr. Rudy Powry, which was a seaman, worked with National Bulk. My greatest, deepest sympathy and condolences to his family and friends. And yesterday evening and last night, I had 2 ships to do the pass-by remembrance ceremony as a seafarer's tribute, maritime tribute for him. And one ship had 16 Ukrainians. Here I have them doing a tribute for our great seaman and their families up there in the Ukraine, and they're worried to death about what's going to happen to our family in the Ukraine, but that's the life of a seaman. They're passing here, and they did this for me to pass by and do the 10-long blast of the horn, for the usual thing that I does, carry out for all our seamen, their wives, any family related to the seafaring community. I carry that out for. Also last night, the ocean was lit up. The water was lit up by another ship from Port Arthur to Brazil carrying coal. That was in honor of Mr. Rudy Powry. That was a bulk carrier ship, type of ore carrier ship, which National Bulk had many of those.
And this is where I think, as you share that, it makes us appreciate how important it is. Mr. Raymond, I don't want to disrespect you nor your efforts, but we are at the news hour. Maybe we can continue the discussion at another time. But thank you for what you do. Let's pause. Please join us after the news.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Clifton Hunter High School is hosting its first annual talent and fashion show this weekend. Proceeds will provide funding to projects and clubs within the school that require assistance from the PTA. The event takes place Saturday, April 29th in the Performance Hall at the Clifton Hunter High School at 6:30 p.m. Admission is $5. In international news, in the middle of a forest not far from Kenya's coast, piles of fresh earth topped with crucifixes await the attention of forensic experts. About 14 mass graves have so far been dug up. The dead, now numbering nearly 60, are thought to have been members of the Good News International Church. It is believed they were persuaded to starve themselves in order to reach heaven before what they were told was going to be the end of the world. 39 bodies have been exhumed so far, but the police say that 58 have died in all, as some who were rescued succumbed while being treated. 9 people have been injured after gunfire erupted at a teenager's party in Jasper County, Texas. The shooting early on Sunday took place at a private residence where some 250 Jasper High School students had gathered after their annual prom dance. The victims, who have not been publicly named, range in age from 15 to 19. All are recovering from their wounds at 2 local hospitals. Police have not yet made any arrests and are requesting the public's help. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The Headline News are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott was a quiet-natured child who liked going on the bluff with his grandfather Oscar Brown, swimming every Saturday evening and playing cricket down where Miss Alame's house sits now. He was very studious at Creek Elementary School and did very well under the tutelage of his favorite teacher, Miss Isley Connolly MBE. Following the tragic death of his father at sea, at age 14 he left school to work with Arnold Foster to support his family. In 1953 he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to boatswain. From 1953 until 2006, some 52 years, Captain Scott made his living working off the seas.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thanks so much for sharing with us, sir. It is open line as we go straight to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. How are you?
Excellent, man. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good.
Not too bad, hanging in, trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Well, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. But
But every day above ground is a beautiful day.
amen to that, man. We make the most of it. We make the best of it.
Yes, definitely. And every day can be ice cream.
Uh,
Or chocolate.
Listen, if a day isn't good, then you get chocolate to make it better, right?
You know what I mean? I'm running from it from the last few days, and believe me, it's killing me.
Well, I think I have found that escapism is sometimes our go-to, and unfortunately, I have not allowed myself to partake of my, as I say, the sea salt and dark chocolate. It's what we should do more often, right?
Yeah. I just can't deal with that chocolate, but I'm trying to cut back, and it's hard. But, one day at a time.
I hear you.
Ellen,
Yes.
I want to hit on a couple of things. You don't have to discuss it. I could random call you, and you can take it from there.
Okay, good.
If someone is waiting.
Right. Now, I am hearing you, but I'm wondering from what I'm being told, it's not the clearest of connections.
Oh, okay, I don't know why. I'm out on the phone.
No. Yeah. Sometimes you have to wonder.
Yeah, well, if you can't hear me,
I'll let you know. You go right ahead.
Okay?
You go right ahead.
I was just thinking over the weekend. A civil servant that has worked in various departments and still employed. I wonder who can say how many pensions they will be drawing at one time for the month. You can put a pin in that and answer that when you get an answer, I guess.
Okay, civil servants and pensions, right?
Yeah, and how many pensions they are allowed to draw when they come from different sectors of the government? Are they all combined together, or how does that run?
Okay, now I'm not going to be an expert, but well, we can come back to that if you want. You go ahead. Okay.
That is very important because the outside workers of what do you call it, independents, they can only draw one pension. I would like to really know how many pensions an individual civil servant can draw when they go from department to department, or it all collected into one, and it looks like one. But you know what I mean. I don't want to go into more details. I'm going to get catch. Sterling, I haven't heard of any of our young people doing any course to become a radio host here in this Cayman Island. I don't know if UCCI offer it or ICCI offer it. And is it being offered to our people here in Ireland if they want to get involved with it, and probably there's a road grant to go in to do this radio host show for our station, especially Radio Cayman. And as you know, we got 2 shows that come in from Radio Cayman on a day, 3 days, and the other one is daily except for Saturday and Sunday. And I always wonder why when Mr. Connor goes on his break, that his show is cut down completely. Is it no one there that can take his chair till he returns, or it's fixed that is his show and his show only? Okay. You can answer that when I hang up. Okay?
Okay.
Don't stress yourself right now. Let me get them all caught before.
You go right ahead. You go right ahead.
I called a week ago when Mr. Brian was on there in the garden, congratulating him on the Redgate Road that he had got cleaned up so good with all these the cars on the left-hand side and right-hand side. And I crossed through there on Thursday, and do you know that spot there has a sign? I'm not sure what the sign is, but that whole stretch is lined off with cars again. And Sterling, the thing with it, that road there, that's where 95% of taxi drivers drive, going and coming with our visitors to our island. And to make that be the first scenery of the island leaving the airport, that is a slap in the face to a degree, because they probably wonder, how much more of a road that I'm going to drive before I get to my hotel, before I'm going to see, this unpresidential look of my arrival, especially your first time to the island. It is very unbecoming, and there's a sign there with the fine, and how much is I don't know. But the thing with the Sterling, we come up with all these laws and rules and regulations, and no one seems to keep up with it to say, well, you know what? You came here and cleaned this up. You did a good job. There it is again. there's a fine for 5,000, 1,000. This is your fine. Don't go back and warn them. It's a waste of time. Put a fine in their hand. And like
Enforcement.
Before,
Enforcement.
Enforcement. Because everybody's doing their own thing when you turn your back. And I want to say this thing before I get back to my other things I want to talk about. They have fighting wanting to legalize ganja in this island. Telling us if we ever legalize that and I smell it as it is now in my own yard, you imagine when it's legalized what Cayman would be again, just smoking town? Everybody going to work laughing and giggling like an idiot, and everybody wants to know what's wrong with you. Boy, it's not something I go to stuff and got me high. And you got to be on your job giggling all day, or you can't wake up because then you throw you into such a deep sleep. Last night I tried to go outside in my yard at 8 o'clock to sit down with a friend of mine. And me and her couldn't even sit outside according to John, just smoke was killing us. Come on, man. People need to respect people. You want to smoke that mess, you go in the bush and smoke it. So I just want to put that up there. Ellen, you know what they were doing some National Day? Was it National Day coming up this weekend?
Earth Day cleanup, right?
Earth Day? Was it Earth Day?
People wrote about it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Sterling, I am not for everything, especially when it comes to this garbage collection that they're going to do, I think now twice a year or doing it early, whatever the case may be.
No, it's it was in November, December. Now it's going to be next month, but that's not going to be twice a year, as I understand it. It's just going to replace the later part. They're saying that's kind of in preparation for hurricane season. Let's get the debris out of the way.
Yeah. Okay. How I see that and how I see about doing a road cleanup and within an organization. If you're gonna have an organization there clean up the street, and you're gonna collect all these bags and leave them there for all 4 or 5 days before the truck comes to pick them up, I don't understand why you don't have a truck organized in every district. Get volunteers if that's the case to follow and pick up when they pile them up in a certain spot to be picked up instead of sitting there for so many days before they be picked up. You know, they're so darling. You know, these bags are sitting waiting. I don't know what took place this morning, but this weekend there was a disgrace a couple of days ago. And the fact of the matter is, Sterling, collecting all of this garbage, when are people going to learn that this has to stop throwing this garbage out here left, right, and center? I was at a restaurant just Saturday. An individual came out of a restaurant and took whatever they had in their hand and threw it into the flower pot. And just left a restaurant table and got what he has in his hand in a flower pot right next to his door. He just came it up. Well, that is ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous. You know, and this picking up next month from residential homes and whatever. Well, it needs to stop. Everybody needs to take control of their yards. Take control of their yards. There's a lot of people here who has removal trucks. They're allowed to do business with these homeowners and these rentals. Now waiting for government to come in and pick up all this stuff every year. It's crazy. We are too small to say that we're going to do everything to help these people and handicapping these people. And some people are getting handicapped with it and some are not. You understand? It is not right to be doing government not doing no justice when they can send people in here to clean up this country from somebody's backyard. You go and buy a refrigerator, you make sure you got to take that refrigerator with house before when you take it as your old one. I see the lawn guys dropping the leaves and the limbs and whatever on the road and just flying and going and not paying it no mind. That stuff should be covered up properly. There should be a fine. There should be a proper cover over those trucks. We got hundreds of cameras on our streets, and I can't hear what our cameras are doing for this island. I mean, where this person throw this big old engine on the side of the road up here in Newland, there's a big old camera on the corner of the road. You won't tell me nobody never see you throw that out? I mean, we just wasting money. We are crippling and handicapping the foreigners, the expats, whatever you want to call them, the paper people, the few Caymanians. It has to stop, Sterling. The government ain't got money to pay for this. What's going to happen? I'm looking for our government in the future, now in the future, to go bankruptcy. Because we go on, we can take care of everybody, but yet we can't take care of our own. People out here need food and everything because they got a place to live. or to buy a piece of property, can't make the salary, to have the education, and all kind of stuff going on for a few Caymanians that we have left in this island. And then another thing, Sterling, these politicians, not this one, but all of them, and the ones that is coming, they need to have some respect when someone's going to come and ask them a question. They do not need to tell them, hey, I ain't got time to argue with you. You want to tell me that when you go to talk to MP, there's high up in position that people have put them in there. You can't go and have a conversation with them. You going to tell me I'm what? I'm not talking to you. I'm not here to argue with you. You don't tell your people that. You're especially your own born Caymanian. You got to tell them, I'm not here to argue with you. Directors hanging up phone on you. And MPs walking away from you and trying to hold a conversation. These people forget who put them in there. They're going to be working for the people of this island, regardless if they put them in or not. And this thing about one-man vote, we need to go back to the way it was before. Because I don't see nothing being done throughout this island. This one got this section. This one got east, west, north, and south. What are they doing? Bring them back all together and make it a one-man responsibility. Just like how Ezra and McLean took Eastern and North Side under their wings, the rest of the country can do the same thing too. This one-man vote got to go. It is ludicrous. It is crazy. Because the people of these islands depend on government to do the right things for us. It's not about a handout. It is protecting us and keeping our island safe, keeping our island clean. Making sure that whoever visits us come to this island can be on this island with comfort. But going around picking up a refrigerator and a stove and a bed mattress that someone put out by the road, that is their responsibility. Government needs to do better. I don't care what government it is. I don't care. And Ellen, yeah, joke. If anybody's willing to hire me, come out here and clean up these streets with all these old cars here and there and garbage and so forth, please, and call me, give me a job. All I want is a couple of dollars for gas in my car and buy a bottle of water. That's all I ask for. I would do it on my extra time of the day when school is not in as, before school is back in 2:30. Give me a job. You're afraid of the country? You're afraid of y'all people? The only one thing that can do me is kill me or put me northward or send me to Cameron Brack. And if I go to Cameron Brack, I can overlook and see Cameron Island. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you, you're raising the points that hopefully getting people to, think about it, maybe demand answers. Mr. John.
One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I gotta let you go. Sterling, I know I have a non-profit organization, and since I lost my sister, believe me, I have lost all interest in it. But if I feel like I can help somebody, I do it. If someone calls for something, I do it out of my pocket, right? I'm not here looking no brown button from nobody. But like Makiva says, not everything you do, you got to broadcast it. But I am sick and tired of it. When you go to the stores and you go through one door and you come to the next door, there's always someone waiting at the entrance and the exit. And it's becoming a pain. If you see it so bad, you can't give everybody something. And it's different organizations up there. You might have 2 different ones by price, right? 2 different ones that cost you less. And I mean, come on, man. Where is the conscience? Like I said, I know I got my non-profit organization ID, or license, whatever you want to call it, I paid for it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you got to run it every Saturday or every Friday looking something from the people that are coming into the system comfortable to try to go shopping. And people don't mind giving, I don't believe, but they're being bombarded. Every store you go to, you're being bombarded.
All right.
Control needs to be done.
Certainly need to stay informed and involved and actively engaged in a positive way. Thanks very much, Mom.
Thank you. You have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Got a couple of the callers. Thank you for your patience and holding on and for joining us. Good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
I didn't know what my time era was saying. I say it was one before me.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, thank you. Hopefully we get it, so it's yours. But thank you for listening. How are you today?
Oh, I'm well. I'm still living off of the last weekend here gone, You had a thinker on there, an actual thinker who I think was struggling to tell the truth. I don't know who he was. I couldn't get out that day. But you can bring him back to think anytime, because I it's not often in Cayman that we have that kind of discourse, and I was all over George. I just wanted you to know that, and to say hello to that past caller, and you all have a nice day. But you can bring back the thinker, please, short order.
All right. Well, we have to make sure that we do as you said, get more people engaged. Thanks very much,
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's take another call. Welcome. Good afternoon. Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Sterling. Raymond again.
Hey, Mr. Raymond. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I got a call from someone in Grand Cayman inquiring about ships, where they're coming from, where they're going, and this and that. And anyway, the last one that came to Cayman Brac, that had came from Houston, Freeport, Bahamas, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac with the diesel, and they pumped out the last of it. Yeah, that happens numerous times where Cayman Brac received the last portion of the cargo. Then they'll go back to Houston, mostly from Cayman Brac, empty to Houston to load for the next port. The last one left Cayman Brac empty and went to Mobile, Alabama to load jet fuel. And then that will be loading again in Houston, and then she went back to the Bahamas, etc. And some of those Rubis tankers that people see in Grand Cayman, they have been on charter carrying coconut oil and palm oil from Malaysia past the Cayman Islands. They carry the what you call it's called clean products, but to me it's dirty cargoes. They carry gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, then wash the tanks out and pump coconut oil and palm oil in Malaysia, come back through the Cayman Islands and goes to New Orleans and Savannah, Georgia. No wonder why contaminants are in human consumption foodstuffs. Tankers carrying unsafe, deadly chemicals and then washing them out. And there's an instance, this is going to be alarming to the public when they hear this. I had a tanker do a tribute for a seaman 2 weeks ago, and I knew it was coming from Argentina going to Geismar, Louisiana. And my mind said to me, I bet that had carried some dangerous cargo before, carrying tallow, which is like a type of lard. And so I asked the captain, what was your last cargo in your ship? Said our last cargo was sulfuric acid, battery acid, and it took 6 days to clean and wash out the tanks and then pump lard, similar to lard, a hard grade, and then they heat it and pump it out in the tanks in Geismar, Louisiana. They use that for frying fish and chicken at the fast food restaurants and all of that, and used in making soaps and fragrances and candies and bars and all that kind of thing. So it's really alarming how the world has reached the stage to allow tankers carrying deadly substances to wash them out and carry edible oils for our human consumption. It's just absolutely alarming.
It is, as you shared, how maybe many times we don't always appreciate that one ship is used for one thing one time. But Mr. Raymond, as before we go to the caller, in that instance, if the same ship is used for food, you're saying the same ship can be used for a dangerous cargo?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
There's no restrictions for that.
Right. But when they're changing out from one cargo to the next, isn't there a process that they ensure that it's clean in order to accommodate the new cargo?
Yes, that is the process. They steam clean and wash the tanks. But as you know it, they sent when you get gasoline into a container, how many times you would have to wash a container, a bucket out, or anything to get that scent.
Right.
Gasoline, jet fuel, naphtha, and especially the highly corrosive battery acid. So they have a man geologist in the tank and inspect the tank and gives a clean bill of lading that you're authorized to load the next cargo. But what I'm saying, minute particles, droplets in those tanks could be in the pipelines and the valves and all of that. It should never be happening in today's world. I know the orange juice tankers that carry the orange juice that we all drink in the Cayman Islands from Brazil to Tampa, Florida, and Port Manatee. That's all they carry, orange juice or apple juice, mostly orange juice. They don't carry anything else. That's just their type of cargo.
Mm-hmm.
But these other tankers that carries dirty cargoes for human consumption and then carry edible oils for human consumption where you had just carried deadly chemicals. It's just alarming how
Yes, sir.
it's allowed. It should never be. You have a tanker designed for chemical tanker, should not be carrying coconut oil, palm oil,
foods,
anything like that.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Ewan. Thank you, man. See?
But I'm educating the public.
Yes, you are.
That's why I'm on here, educating the public of the Cayman Islands and all our listeners as to how contamination can come. You remember you heard bacteria was in peanut butter a few years back, and also orange juice had a bacteria in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the tanker's been carrying battery acid and cleaning out and going and load peanut oil for making peanut butter and payday candies and a million things, different things out of that oil. And you wonder why contamination is happening.
Yes, sir.
Carrying chemical cargoes and carrying peanut oil right inside the same tanker. I don't care who says so, but I'm saying that minute, a billion particles are inside that tank that they do not get clean completely, and the next cargo going to be absorbing that, especially coconut oil and palm oil, peanut oil, which is a thick, heavy grade oil. So it just should never be happening.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be, period.
Yeah. Hopefully it's something that, as we understand our food quality and the sourcing. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. Let's take this other caller though before we go to the break. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Calling me again. Sorry to disturb you.
Not at all, man. Thank you for taking time to share.
Yeah. Just listening to Raymond there, that make me. I got consumed peanut butter all day, but I don't think I got be eating no more now. I hope it's not too late, but that makes you stop and think that is a serious situation there, knowing that is the kind of mentality that these companies carry out just to make sure that their work continues. But I didn't want, another topic on that. I want to bring back up this situation here with the Brock with the fall away of the national heroes for Cayman Brock.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a national heroes when it was correct me now. When was that again?
Didn't seem too long ago, but boy.
Start the year, with time flying.
Yeah, with time flying. Then we've had some extended activities this year, to honor all of the awardees,
Yeah, I was speaking to OC. I think it was on his show, which I got the information from some of or pretty much all of the members that are known as national heroes for Cayman Brock, and they are noted as Reverend Lee King. We know him as Reverend Lee King, Captain Charles General Colonel, Charles Leonard Colonel, Captain Mabry, and they have a Ella Hulston Ladder, which is from Grand Cayman, under Cayman Brock listing. They don't have all of those other members. Captain Captain Dillon, all of them people there, and the main person they left out of the whole thing, Sterling, Captain Keith Tibbetts. Cayman Brock, the Cayman Islands, is founded from what he holds dearly to him. When he did that, was to make sure that the Cayman Islands didn't fall under the same laws as Jamaica, come away from Jamaica when they signed the paper. He was the one that stand against it when Grand Cayman and the group of them formed and got the letter written that Cayman would stand without the help of Jamaica, or all in the same category as Jamaica. We today, Sterling, we don't have national heroes for Cayman Brac in no system. And I want to let whoever listening, if they want to challenge it, they can challenge it. We have a school. We have 5 schools on this. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 schools on this island. And those schools, I know for one certain, the high school has a board, a wall that is painted with national heroes, like I said before, all from Grand Cayman. Not one Cayman Braca is listed on that national hero board. The recognitions for the Cayman Bracas is not known as national heroes in the system, Sterling. We do not even have national heroes here on the Brac. Our children comes out of school, they don't even know who the national heroes is for the Brac. They got relate on people from Grand Cayman that they never seen in their life, never heard about in their life, until they read the board that placed there on the schools. The neglect that you can see what happened to this little small island just because we are 90 miles away, like we drifting further east, instead of we staying connected to one another as 3 islands, we are being distant. We are being let loose and drifting, and they don't want to take note that Cayman Brac is a part of the Cayman Islands, and that has always been a problem. When they release this thing about, one old man has said, it took 12 one time to come Cayman Brac, bring a promise. they were politicians, and that was back then, Sterling, when Cayman Bracas were Cayman Bracas. I don't know what we have now, because we got some soft-headed people here, I can tell you what. When the people step down on top of us, we not going to know what hit us in Sterling, because we have lost those hard people, those strong back men and women, we have lost them. And it's sad to know that we don't have in our system national heroes from the Brac. And I mentioned that on the show, and the Minister of Tourism came on, and he got a comment on it, and he got cut off. I don't know what was the situation. I think you remember that call that day when he got cut off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think subsequent to that, we understood
some technical issue,
with the network provider.
It sounded like he wanted to mention something regarding that along with his meeting that he had there gone weekend. And the thing that bothers me up so much is to know that we have we still have these fall away, or not fall away. We have these heroes that we know as heroes passed away, is what I was going to say. And their families are here, and they know that they can't go on a plaque or a wall and look and say, that's my national hero, that's my grandfather, or my father, or my great-grandfather. They can't say nothing, Sterling. And it's about high time that people get up and try to realize where we stand and what they are doing us, because our own people is ducking us under the water slowly, Sterling. They're shutting us up slowly that we don't speak. And I refuse to go down without like what my father said, when you're right, you fight to death. When you're wrong, you shut your mouth. When I am right, I intend to go down fighting for the people that came on Brac. I don't care who like it and who don't. I can't just sit down here and worry about what this one gonna think and what that one gonna say. No, I have children that gonna be in the future, that when I leave this world, they gonna come behind. We don't have nothing for them to be, to look back on. We don't have no platform for them to stand on, because our own people tearing it down from under our foot, Sterling, and we don't want to fight back for what is ours. That's a sad situation.
Yeah.
Sad situation.
It's time to stand together, to work together in a positive way, right?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man.
All right, we talk again, man.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
All
right, let's pause now. Take that quick break. When we return, share with us your thoughts. Try to WhatsApp if you can. 925-3261. Stay tuned.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we are introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back and thanks for sharing. It is open line. Let's go right to the phones. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, all right.
No, I just called to tell you that you got all the heavies today. My girlfriend just found there because, you know, she's not shutting up until she get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he always called about his national heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And got all the heavies today. But Mr. Cayman Brock, keep up. Stay up. Don't stop. You might have to go far and long and hard, but you know, have the tenacity to do it. And I really like that he's always on that page.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, don't stop.
If I can ask you though, I mean, it's good to talk and to hopefully recognize some of the issues, possibly offer up, you know, solutions, but do we need to do something to take some sort of, you know, action?
There's no action to take. You're one person that can't take action in a democracy, you know, unless you're willing and are willing and able to bring other people along. It don't work like that in a democracy. You don't get anywhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think about democracy. She done. She will out no about no more.
So what's the alternative?
Well, I would think the alternative is for Caymanians to do exactly what they need to do. That is form their organization, keep it close to the chest, keep your powder dry, and Caymanians only. That don't mean you came here and applied for something because the ride is good. Because if the ride not good, you know, they go in right, they can leave. kicking and throwing dust in your face, but they can leave, but they wasn't good and this and that and the next thing. Your bona fide Caymanians that got DNA to terra firma and know where to go dig up your bones. That will work.
Let me, if you have time, right, let me ask you, because I use the word action deliberately, because you need to act,
All kind of words here today.
Yeah, faith without works is dead, we're told, right?
Yes, you could find some with that word in the area.
I know. And the word action, I think, from a lot of people have a negative connotation in that they think it can be anything other than positive and productive and respectful and responsible. And the other thing I want to ask is that what if there are Caymanians to the terra firma, as we say, who exhibit little love, respect, value, appreciation for Cayman and are unwilling?
We have done that. They're not necessarily unwilling. You got to work at it. That's why I say work at it.
Right.
You got to work, but you know the Lord God Almighty couldn't get 100%, and He didn't want it by I would call it by enforcement. But as for choice, He himself couldn't get 100%. But you can get it, and you go to begin with. You go with what you got.
You start somewhere.
You go with what you got. People only need to see progress that is being really, really gained and acknowledged and all that. They'll join on. They'll come along.
Okay.
But we don't want to start these organizations, and like you alluding to, we don't want to join the organizations, and a whole lot is going on. But Caymanians are now to the place, our backs are against the wall. That way, you see, we're not going to kerosene because gas is too fast and diesel is too slow to make them up. Make them tell you all the foolishness. They knew this was coming. I preach it all the time.
Yeah.
My cousin used to tell me that a past governor used to tell him, and I'm going to have to fight for it, like Fidel up in Cuba. And I don't want to. But I'm going to have to fight for it like Fidel up in Cuba. And they took away the kerosene oil because gas is too fast and diesel is too slow. So they were looking at it, like you say, from the negative connotations, like that's the only way you can fight for. But everybody fighting. Up in Sudan, they're fighting. All over they're fighting. And if Caymanians don't get up and try to pull themselves together, and I know you don't like this concept, us and them. Darling, it is us and it is then them. I don't see him on my platform. The person that we're talking the other day that I called the thinker, I don't know if he's a part of us or not, because I don't know who it is. But even if he's not a part of us, and he make himself a part of us then, and he has good thought, it's only 1 in a million of them. They come here for something. Cayman is a money magnet. They come here for something. They want our social acceptance, our social access, and a whole pile of money. And until the day we begin to extract something from their fingernails, if we got drag them out, called little bit of income taxes, yeah. Make them pay it, make us all pay it. Little bit of income taxes separate the sheep from the goats. But we can get there, but it's going to be work. Because remember now, in your short lifetime, because you know old, in your short lifetime, you don't know Caymanians fighting for anything. I am old enough to know when they used to fight for things. I used to get them too. I mean, it was a totally different climate, but we used to get it. But you don't get them no more. In other words, all that we have before us today, if it is any benefit to the country and to its people, they never fought for it. It comes to us as a way of, as a rite of passage. Did we fight for emancipation? No. That came by rite of passage under Jamaica, and so on and so forth. That's just one example. Look at our history. Caymanians never identified a cause. They never came together, and they fought for nothing. But they better try fight now if they want to know where they're going to be buried and how their little grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to live. They better try do it. But I know how I'm loving you and leaving you.
Well, I appreciate it, and as you say that, I'm thinking of initially Bob Marley's lyrics about fussing and fighting, and as you said, loving him. He talks about, we should really love each other, in peace and harmony, instead of all the fussing and the fighting, right? So if it's us and them, Could it be us who are united for a more political, economically, socially stable, secure?
But we don't business with that. Once we can get gas in a car,
yeah,
a slice of bread, a little cigarette money, and a little beer money, we good.
Yeah, but
you remember one time people used to fight for right to go out into hill line over the Iron Shore and get their turtle meat and things like that. You hearing things like that from us? That's food. You can't live without food.
No. And it's interesting how you share that, because I think sometimes, and I'll say this from my personal perspective, in trying to be polite, we're not necessarily direct, because that may offend people, and as a result of not being direct, you may end up inadvertently miscommunicating, right? So to be specific, could we have, whether we're from the Cayman terra firma, whether we're someone who has status through some means for just a couple of minutes or for a few decades.
Big degree of people then we're talking about now. Yeah, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
But could we not, if our objective is a society that is safe, stable, secure, that sort of thing, that we work together? Is it naive to think that if we believe...
Use that word again. Is it naive? I can tell you before you go there, I can we go in. Yes, and I'm thinking, sitting down here thinking the same thing. How can I break this to you? Thank you, Lord. You open the door.
I know. Go ahead.
Yes, that is very naive. You are not trying to understand the human condition.
Uh-huh.
The human condition that you got in the back of your mind, you are reluctant to let that go. That went out the window in the early 1950s. It may have lasted to my mid 1960s. I don't see it coming any further, and we just dwindled away. That naivety, and it's a good thing, because that's how we were. That's who we really are. That's who we really want to be. But we are not going to survive it, sir.
Yeah.
Don't different, because we don't have the amount of money. That's what runs the economy. That's what runs politics. The numbers of dollars, the weight of that number, the people sitting in the seats and the chairs, and something called a vote.
Yeah.
They tell you a vote. I'm telling you, everybody, it's not just a vote. That's how you exercise it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you establish your ownership. But it's a franchise, and it's the only one you got.
Mm-hmm.
When you get your franchise, you create agency, but you don't appear to be agency for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's agency for somebody else. When somebody can come and say, I bring in 10 boxes or something out there, I don't want to pay for none of them, or I only willing to pay for 5.
Mm-hmm.
You let that roll because we can, because it's not illegal. Actually, it's legal. And so what happens then? We got to use another means to fill the coffers. What that is, that's the giving away. The outright giving. One is the outright giving away of finances, and the other one is outright giving away of rights and sovereignty. Sovereignty might even be in the right place there, but we still feel much to prove with that. But rights and sovereignty, we give away for the rest of it. We can't get in a place. It has to change. But Britain got a little paper going, but the place I get to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Read that. And it's only one paragraph that means anything in that long speech that they got written out in the compass, you know. That part they say, how is my people treated down? But on the know that the people right, and I know that they come from up here right, give them what they want. And I know we're going to have to do it. But long time Charlene had said, when the time comes, I don't want it. But when the time comes, God willing, I'm alive and well enough, I'm going to participate. And I can give everybody what they gave to me. And I can campaign that.
All right.
Can't be worse here under somebody else than it is onto our very own. Remember that woman just got through saying, I don't have time for you today. Not even call me.
Yeah.
And you don't make that journey on your own, you know. You have to call for help. You can tell people about don't talk to you, because look here now, in short, what I mean is don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing right going about my business because you're not that important. Oh. Anyhow.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice show.
All right. Thanks again. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Quick break, and then the callers, if you can, join us after.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Vaccines are as important to your overall health as diet and exercise, like eating healthy foods, exercising, and getting regular checkups. Vaccines play a vital role in keeping you healthy. Vaccines are one of the safest preventative care measures available. Get up to date with vaccinations you or your children may have missed. Call the Public Health Department today on 244-2648 to schedule your appointment. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The annual business surveys are ongoing. The surveys are conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, and seek to measure the economic performance of all local industries. The ESO sincerely thanks those who participated in last year's survey. The survey forms were mailed or emailed to all relevant entities operating in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the Economics and Statistics Office. For assistance in filling up the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600. Better data, better decisions, better business.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for sharing with us. Let's go straight to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, afternoon.
Oh, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
How are you?
Not bad, man. You had a good weekend?
I did, you know. How about yourself?
Boy, it was a peaceful one. I live in the Cayman Islands. So it was a peaceful one.
Amen, amen, amen.
Yeah, I kind of lost the screen for thought, but I still have something to talk about, same way, you know what I mean? Because I was waiting a little while, but yeah, I lost the screen for thought, but
I can start back from when the guy left. The lady who was talking before about the passiveness of Caymanian people. Yeah, well, the passiveness is proven by our hidden slave history that there is nowhere else in the world that had slaves that never had a rebellion apart from Cayman. So that kind of shows what kind of people we are. We're just laid back people. But at the same time, we importing Vikings and everybody else, that's competing with our people here. That's why we can't get no step up into anything. Because if you put a little featherweight versus Mike Tyson back in the day, it would never match up. So you're putting these passive people against people where come from different nations, where it's more a hustle and bustle, where it's more of a dog-eat-dog world, where you have to have like a A++ even just to qualify into going to the market. The competition is so stiff. So we knowing all of this, and we know that we are the passive ones. Why are we outnumbering ourselves? I mean, we talk about growing the country, or the governments talk about growing the country to this 100,000, but I don't see them have no incentive to grow it with their own. No incentive. Because basically there is no incentivized plan for Caymanians to reprocreate or reproduce. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing apart from a big hefty bill. And the government ain't helping. You know what I mean? Because everywhere else in the world that they say that, okay, there's a population crisis, the government throws incentives. Even mother country England, they throw incentives in as they give housing and stuff for the woman and all kind of stuff. And that's the reason why some of our Caymanian people from here run going to England for that kind of free housing and that kind of free living, because they incentivize that. But there ain't nothing here. Back in our day, or back in the day when I was a youngster between birth and 18, my mother didn't have a bill. Didn't have to worry about paying no insurance and paying every time I did a checkup. But now at these days, before they even, if you're even thinking about conception, you better think about the insurance that you need to have coverage for that child for the rest of his life. It's basically, insurance is basically mandatory here, right?
Yep. And
All right. So, like last week I spoke to you, or like I asked a question with everything changing around me that doesn't look like Cayman. Who are we really building this place for, Up to this morning, I called into the radio show where the premiere was on, and I asked the question, where the incentives for the Caymanians to reprocreate or reproduce? Didn't get an answer.
Right.
That fell on deaf ears, so I called back now on the government station, so I hope he has some kind of time, because I know the LA is not in now, that they're listening. I could get some kind of feedback, and the people in Cayman Islands would like to have a feedback on that, why there are any incentives in growing the Caymanian population of Cayman. It's like we have 150 odd nations the last time I checked, but we are out of I would put it at, some people say 80,000. I would say 75,000 people. We have a number of 20,000, 21,000. So that shows us that we're a minority, but we keep on minuting our own selves daily by the government repeated offenses of what they're doing. And it's not building for us or for the future of us. It's building for something else, but nobody's speaking on it. It's like this material that's coming in, this boom of business, it has blinded a lot of people, but what happens tomorrow when that goes away or when that slows down? What's left? Who's left? Or who's it left for?
Who's it left for? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's going to thrive in this? You know what I mean? I'm not talking, everybody talking about the minimum wage, but people is a bigger picture than the minimum wage, because if you raise the minimum, okay, if I was a business owner and I was paying $6 an hour as a minimum wage, and that's what I could afford, and business is rough, and Cayman has competition out the hilt in certain industries, they have oversaturated it. With certain industries, like I always ask, why do we need a gas station for every half mile? Don't make sense. You know what I mean? That's why the price of certain things is going to be up there, because it's so
It's costly.
No, but it is so congested with competition that you ain't making nothing, so you can't give nobody a break.
Yeah.
So it's like certain things like that is like, why are we doing these things? And like, it's like we are like a small model of a big city.
Yeah. But this is it, man.
We could learn from them, and ours could be more controlled and sustained, but I really don't understand what's going on. And every year, or every 4 years, that's when I see champions come out of the woodworks. And it's only for a minute. It's only for a minute. And if we check it up every 4 years, it's like we not learning, but I have a wake-up call for the government. We have a lot of mixed people coming in here where they're procreating this island here, and their offspring, they have the best of both worlds, and they won't tolerate what's going on now. So a fight is coming, you know. A fight is coming, and it won't be coming from people who look like myself. Yeah, it's a mix of people here now that they know what they're going to be fighting for. It's like we have been here so long that, like I tell a friend, I see the sea every day. I might go to the beach 5 times for the year, and somebody come here on a 3-week vacation, they're going to go every day of that week. Yeah, so we take it for granted.
That's it, man.
So what we have taken for granted, this passiveness that they keep on trying to dumb us down with, oh, we are so passive. There are warriors coming up in the midst that they see what we are coming from and where we are heading, and they don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, man. My friend, always good points, and apologies for the wait earlier, but also for having to ask you to excuse us so we can take the news. Talk to you again another time, all right?
Thank you very much for the time off.
You're welcome, man. All right, let's pause, and when we come back, we'll join the other callers. Please stay tuned.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge Grand Cayman event is on Sunday, April 30th. The entry fee is $25 for adults and $10 for children under 18 until April 26th. You can sign up at racecaribbean.net. As a civil servant, if you register online, you can pay via salary deduction. In international news, one of the last 2 survivors from a U.S. battleship sunk during Japan's 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor has died at the age of 102. Utah resident Howard Kenton Potts was a 20-year-old crane operator taking supplies to the USS Arizona when Japan attacked on December 7, 1941. A total of 1,177 sailors on the ship were killed, accounting for nearly half of U.S. casualties during the attack. The United States joined World War II after the attack. The chief executive of NBC Universal, Jeff Shell, has left the U.S. media and entertainment giant over an inappropriate relationship he had with a woman at the company. The announcement comes after the firm conducted an investigation over a complaint about Mr. Shell's conduct. Parent company Comcast has not yet said who will be the new NBC Universal boss. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Things come up. That's life. But it doesn't mean I can't show up. From a runny nose, stubbed toes, to earache woes. headaches, backaches, and tummy aches. When things come up, Best Health Pharmacy over-the-counter solutions get you back in the game. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor. Best Health Pharmacy, your health, your convenience is their priority. Best Health Pharmacy also offers free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Look at you, listening to the radio, tuning in, getting stuff done. Total doer. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're getting your oil changed, or grabbing some chicken. Maybe you're doing something that's nobody's business but yours. Hey, that's cool. We're all doing something. Now you can join a whole new community of doers doing more on findyellow.com. With custom search, local experts, and trusted reviews, whatever you're doing, get it done on findyellow.com.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020. Row Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Row Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. And let's go straight to the phones. Thank you for your patience. Hold on. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. No guests in the house today?
In the studio.
In the studio, yeah.
Prayerfully, the Holy Spirit. But other than that, I only look and see myself.
All right. Well, that's the best man to listen. I really baffled. I really baffled to see how some people could have such audacity to just be, discriminating someone else's I would call it habit.
You know, we all have bad habits. Some like to swear, and some like to just despise people.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say something about people that use marijuana. I mean, a lot of people use this substance for all different purposes. Some use it recreational, some use it medicinal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I personally do believe that if people could start thinking about what they say before they actually say it, you know, it could actually bring a big change into the world. Because when you think about when some people think that alcohol is any much better than marijuana, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I know what to think about it, because both of them are drugs. One is legal and one is not. I had a comment about I was talking about why can't government acknowledge people's applications when they apply for a job. Maybe the name might come familiar and you might know that they have a specific flaw that you don't like, but that does not make them incapable of doing the specific task that they are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get something saying, oh yeah, well maybe because marijuana is illegal, that's why you can't get a job. I should say that they should consider that anybody that is drinking alcohol should be treated the same way, because a lot of bad decisions that have been made in the world was all under the influence of alcohol. I mean, somewhere down the line, but not all the instances it's like that. Now, when for example, to get off of the topic of the ganja, if I was to listen into my government and they're saying, well, why don't Caymanians be a little bit more innovative in certain criteria, like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, me, I like environment. I like the environment, anything environmental I'm in. And if I do see a way that I can possibly help improve our environment and the awareness of our environment, why can't that be acknowledged easy? You know, like, if I was to go into Department of Environment with some proposal to say why can't it take in consideration doing a specific thing, why can't they acknowledge that instead of just coming from a professional that have a PhD and maybe unnecessary skills that they do not have? Maybe they just studied it and they haven't been in the field doing it. That does not say that it can be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, knowledge isn't just that piece of paper. If you don't have it, doesn't mean that you're not knowledgeable, right?
Exactly. Like,
Okay.
like if I had a new and a better, and I wasn't as like what a last caller would probably have said, like naive. If we was to just take in consideration everybody's ideas and just say, you know what is the pros and cons of this situation? Can't we get back to the people and inform them why can't it be done? Or why am I not taking it in consideration because maybe it's too expensive? Or can we think of another way? Because there's all different ways to skin a cat. I mean, I don't like to use a cat for an example, but I mean, to get attention from people, you have to really bring in context, other things. Like, for example, if I was to say to help bring our younger generation, the children, they'll be right on that case immediately. But what do they have for the children?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like, I'm growing up now, and I was encouraged to continue doing what I'm doing, but there's no support in it. It's like we've lost our moral support. Why do that for the young generation? Now I'm 30 years old, and when I was coming up, when I saw Turtle Farm, how it was before Ivan destroyed it, I can still remember people said, "Do not give up what you do." Now all of a sudden, it's a encouragement to try to forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I mean, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I as I listen to you, I'm thinking a number of things and weaving your thoughts with a number of the other callers and asking, are we at a space and a place in our history where as people we're prepared not only to stand in the gap but to ensure that what we're doing now benefits us now but for future generations, things that we always hear and say no but seemingly unwilling or unable, reluctant to do. And let's take, for instance, a particular development. is now noticeable. Are people aware that this thing is proposed, and do they have sufficient resources and means and for knowledge to comment? Or are they only doing so when they see it physically coming out of the ground? Whether it's on an environmentally sensitive area, whether it's a proposed particular type of construction in a particular area where the community is going, well, should that go there? Should the people know? And the reason I'm asking is to what extent we're involved and informed about what is happening, and we're courageous enough to stand up, speak up, and speak out. Now, with what you just shared, the other sort of part of that equation is when we look at our people, are we prepared to help them along, support them, nurture them, encourage them, but sometimes very consciously and deliberately be very direct with them, and it may not necessarily be complimentary and positive, but it is honest, and it is something that they need to hear because it's going to help them along the way. But I wonder if we're doing that, for others, but not for our own.
Well, that's a thing that we need to look into, because me personally, I do not know where to start when it comes into those type of things. I mean, I'm trying to say, why don't we, like in my example, coral reefs, you go and bring a pop quiz to anybody on this island, just anybody in random, like in your office, in your home, in your supermarket, and just say, what do you know about corals? For example, just number one, what do you know about corals? Have you heard about them? Oh yeah, they're plants that live in the ocean. Maybe that might be your number one answer. But how much of factual is that? That's not true. Who can correct that? Who is going to be out there to make the awareness that we do have an ecosystem out here that is actually playing a really, really, really big role in this island? Now, the other people that are not aware of it, obviously, are going to be oblivious to the plan, and they're not going to care about it because that's not in their field, as long as it doesn't have anything to do with their work. But what about the people that are not aware? How can we make them aware? Like, there is the National Art Gallery that nobody goes to anymore. I mean, they might have fundraisers that they might invite certain people that have a lot of money that can afford to not waste time, but I would say spend their time to do something that not everybody particularly cares about. But it's the same notion where there's people that have interest and there's people that don't have that same interest. Why can't they cater to people equally? Just the same way how people should care for like say for example the substance abuse. When I was talking to Mr. Brent the other day when he was on the show, he said mind altering drugs. If alcohol is considered a mind altering drug, why can't marijuana be considered a safe mind altering drug as well? It does not kill anybody particularly. Maybe it might make you lose your mind when you think too much, and if you can't handle the situation, there is obviously things that you could do to moderate the use of certain things. Maybe you might not know that you can't smoke constantly like how you would smoke a pack of cigarettes. Like, there's supposed to be guidelines into certain things. A lot of people know you cannot sit down in the bar from 10 o'clock and stay until 2 o'clock and not come out drunk. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we're like, it's like a bias field, like a hedge that is partitioning people from seeing the equal treatment, if you understand what I mean. Like, I can't treat a drunk person the same way how I can treat a person that is high. I don't know how to explain that because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, we can see the effect on things, but I believe if you were to even focus exclusively on the discussion of marijuana, cannabis, just getting the right terminology and the connotation as to how we use the words, but also the question of legalizing versus decriminalizing. But even before we get there, what about the education as to the objective we want, the impact of what we're doing, and looking at it, maybe, if you allow me to borrow from what you were saying, looking at all drugs, including alcohol, and asking ourselves, should the age at which we consume alcohol and cannabis and other things that are now legal, be the same age, 21, right?
Yeah.
What are the implications of the things we're doing or not doing? Why are we doing it? And as we expand the medicinal aspect, can we look at the research? Are there food options, construction options? Is there not just an economy for export? Is there the quality control relative to the propagation and personal consumption here? Where is the supply coming from? I mean, there are things that I believe may not be asked properly.
Communication does play a big part in that, because if
Mhm.
you can just if they can just go into it like this, where they would ask the community if, say, for example, they are planning on legalizing marijuana. I'm not saying that's only going to happen. I hope it would happen, but it's not going to happen the way how I would assume it would be. But decriminalization is actually, in my opinion, a little bit more worse than what is going on right now with the illegality of the marijuana. If I, for example, is in the middle of the sea, like what I'm doing right now, just chilling out, and if I was to be smoking a ganja spliff, should I be penalized for this?
Yeah, it's
I'm not disturbing anybody. I'm not in nobody's backyard. I'm not even in my own backyard. But like, just say for example, I'm out of sight, out of mind. Why can't people just, stick to themselves and just don't be popping your head around the corner to see what I'm doing? Just try to live with something like how they have some people that like to be out in the balcony all hours of the night just to sit down and listen to their music and drink a little alcohol, not disturbing anybody other than the little noise. But in some sense of respect, they wouldn't be into a way where they would be annoying to their neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking marijuana, if it was legal, maybe if it was legal recreationally and for medicinal purposes at a certain age limit, why can't people just say that, like how they have the Cuban Havana Club, where you can smoke your cigars inside of the store and do what you feel like because it's legal? Respect people's privacy, I would say, or their personal space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking you to come here and smell my ganja, but at the same time, I'm not asking you to come here and debate with me how you feel about me smoking my ganja, because it's not you that's doing it. Be worried about your own health.
Mm-hmm.
I understand everybody has to pick their poison. In my opinion, everyone has stress. Marijuana helps me with mine. I don't know about anyone else, but they might just think it's something that helps you get aggressive. I beg to differ, but there's a lot of people that just have the wrong thinking of marijuana in general, and that's what I'm thinking is the how you would say this now would be something that's what's blocking the idea of legalization, and I hate that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad ideology that people going on with, and I don't think it's really nice to me. And if I was to come and make the same comments about persons that drink alcohol, nobody would like that, right?
Let me ask, when you said, the wrong idea, if I could maybe ask two things. We hear about gateway drugs, and that could be one of them. So do you think a person who is, smoking ganja, doing marijuana, whatever it is, that would lead them, as some suggest, to other drugs, harder drugs?
Negative. I don't believe that. That's a mind choice.
Okay, what about...
I've been smoking marijuana. I personally will tell you I'm not care about what anyone thinks about it either.
Uh-huh.
Not that I don't respect it. I mean, my opinions is my opinions, but you're asking me a question.
Yeah, you're right.
And with my 13 years smoking marijuana, I have not ever thought about using another substance unless it's out of curiosity. And that's not saying I have done any other drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I have not done any other drugs either. So,
we won't get into that, Yeah.
If I was to explain to you what I think is positive about it, I'm smoking marijuana versus smoking cigarettes. And before, I used to smoke cigarettes, like 1 or 2 packs of cigarettes per day.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, because I was a social drinker as well, I would probably drink 1 or 2 beers as well along with that.
Yeah.
And by me substituting that with marijuana, maybe I can go with 2 spliffs per day. And that is dramatically different from smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can say. And cigarettes are a whole lot more addictive than marijuana.
Do you
and
think?
alcohol.
Yeah. Do you think alcohol, people who use and abuse alcohol, that could be a gateway to other drugs as well? Your view.
You're welcome to answer yourself. That's what I had first started with alcohol.
I know.
It led to smoking cigarettes, and then afterwards it just led to
Right.
smoking marijuana. And I found out it's a whole lot better to smoke a little joint before you think about even picking up a beer. So if that answers my part of my answer, if that answers your question, I don't think that marijuana should be thought of as a gateway drug. I mean, that's my personal preference, and everybody has a different mindset, so it works with other people different ways.
And then finally, what do you think we can do as a society? It would appear, and I really, if this is an unfair or unfounded sort of position, let me know, but it would appear that the use of smoking ganja, cannabis, marijuana, whatever it is that we call it, seems to be fairly widespread in this community across all professions and type of people, age, nationality. I mean, it would appear to be that way.
Big diversity in there, and it's not just Caymanians alone.
Right.
Definitely not just
Right.
Caymanians alone.
Yeah.
I would like to leave it where I could say that if we as a community could just sit down and think about what we have to say about the people that are doing something you don't like to do, maybe you should just not say it at all.
Right.
And like maybe you can even confront it, because I'm not an aggressive person. I might sound like a very assertive talker, but I'm not an aggressive person. If you tell me something, I might not agree.
Right.
If I do not agree with you, I'll explain to you why I don't agree. Correct. And you will do back the same to me.
Right.
I stand corrected if I can be, and I would like to know that if I have my opinion, it should matter. It should matter, because it's important that we as a community can work together, because I'm not on anybody's side. I don't care if anybody thinks that I am against the alcoholics or if I'm against the coke addicts. I am not against anybody, and I'm not with anybody as well. I would like to work together with people, but if nobody can work together with me, how can I work with anyone?
Right. So I reckon there's a time, but with that in mind, given that perception that it seems to be a growing acceptance of its use, right? And the expectation that at some point, whether it's going to be legalized or decriminalized, we've seen some changes already. Given that, do you think we now need to step up our education? And that would include alcohol and tobacco use as well, but specifically with our education on the impact on its use and
I do think we should get in. We should get into the educational part, because I could be quite frank with it. I haven't been involved with anything with the schools or anything like that ever since 2010, since I graduated. But when I was in school, primary school, used to have like officers like PC Harvey would come in, and they would give you your information when you need to know about the drug, their program. And you're aware. We were aware as children back then that alcohol and substance abuses are bad, but that still did not bring us to prevention. I don't know if it's about because when we were younger we would just listen and we wouldn't do it, and then when we get older we realize that maybe it might be an misinformation that they were giving us, or we just a misunderstanding. But if we were to bring back the DARE program and, for example, sex education as well, I don't know if they have stopped it, but those were some key points when they used to teach about abstinence. And I'm hearing when I mention abstinence, some people say, oh, it's not, I'm not going to name any names, but it's not practical. Abstinence is not practical. I'm like, okay, so hold on. Abstinence is not practical. What is the practice of abstinence? Isn't that a practical thing?
Yeah. My friend, you always provide some insightful commentary and allow us to think. We're going to just about to close off the program. Any quick final thoughts you might want to leave with us, or?
No, sir, I just love the fact that I can call in and
always.
Questions.
Yeah, man.
I can answer.
But thank you for that, and I'm hoping that as people share their thoughts, especially the things that you said today, that nobody will hold it against you If anything, we will try to help instead of hinder. But thank you very much for sharing, all right?
Yes, sir. You're welcome very much. All right.
All right. All the best. And, as a good friend, she referenced earlier, all the good powerhouses called out today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to share. For those who may have called and we weren't able to answer or didn't get to you fast enough, let's work on that. But know that we value. One of our lady callers asked a question about getting more people in the media and hosting the talk shows. We've been trying that. I really came on from long before I joined, and for almost 2 decades I've been here, specifically at the talk show. Caymanians are not seemingly that interested in media, as it were, whether hosting radio or television or writing, as it were. So maybe it's something we can encourage. But I'll say this, it's very evident that from a very small pool of people, it's going to be particularly challenging to have enough people to do all the things that we would want. And maybe, as has been shared earlier, maybe we need to have a very deliberate focus on what is it that we want from our society, the demands and expectations of our parliamentarians, the desire that they must be accountable as they're responsible for the endeavors. But at the end of the day, we as the citizens, and in particular the voters, have an inherent obligation to be actively engaged, to be positively informed, to ensure that we're speaking. And it isn't always easy, to do the right thing if, we're considering the political expediency or the possible social exclusion. And we may want that to be in that if I did this and said this, even though it's right, it's necessary, and it's necessary now, but I mightn't get the invitation to the next dinner party or nominated for the next award or whatever it is. But then how does your conscience, guide you, and how does your ethos dictate, your efforts? Well, I would ask, as I've asked my closest friends, to pray for and with, help to guide, nurture, protect, and provide, and ensure that together we do what is positive and productive. It is a wonderful, truly wonderful place to live, but we've seen it getting increasingly worse, and we have to ask our question, is it because of our actions or our inactions? Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours.